Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jade and today I am bringing to you guys my December wrap up. It was an interesting month, December, for me. I was finishing my most stressful semester at college. Every semester is slightly more stressful than the last, I feel like, but this one was hard. So the first half of the month, I just was finishing school books, which I have like downstairs somewhere, but I didn't really feel like getting them, so I'll just do a quick picture. I read the Rhine. It's a really big river in Europe that has been an important place for economic growth for the whole continent, but was severely environmentally degraded. I read Rash Assault, and it's like environmental history of Victorian England or something like that. I read The Green Light Society, which is about how the green movement started in France. And I read another book for a different class, The Bedevilment of Elizabeth. Oh, what's her name? Well, it's right here on the screen. This is a witch trial. I read a lot of witch trials because I took a class on the history of witchcraft. It was really cool. But those are all the not fun books I read. I mean, they were interesting, but they weren't fun. And the next couple books I read, I finished my stressful semester time. And I was like, you know what? Well, okay, not even that. I finished my stressful semester as I was moving into my new place that I am currently filming at. I live here. But I literally had a final the day I was moving. It was a very stressful time. But then I finished all of that and I moved in, and we're completely moved in, but there's of course like still little things that need to be done and stuff. But like my room and all my stuff is unpacked and it's really nice. I just need to buy one more bookshelf because I got a lot of books floating everywhere because I have a bookshelf that broke. But then it was my free time, and it was I just had work, which I was still doing part-time, waiting for my hours to get like increased. So I had a lot of reading time. And I read. I was feeling a rereading mood, and my roommate likes the Assassin, what's it called? The Throne of Glass series. And it got me thinking about, Sarah J. Maas and how great her books were, and how I've been wanting to reread the series for a little while really bad. So I reread A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas, and I'm really glad I did because I actually gave this a higher rating this time. I've only read it once before, like 4 years ago, and I gave it a 5 stars this time, and I gave it like a 3.5 last time. I didn't like it as much the first time for like kind of like varying small reasons, but I loved it this time because I was like, I loved it this time because I noticed all of the little hints the author incorporates into the plot of like the future books. And I really loved that detail, and I just, every time she did it, I was like, oh my god, I know what's gonna happen with that, and I felt so special, and I was like, this is awesome. I just really like seeing that, so it was cool to reread it and actually like be like knowing what's gonna happen and understanding that from day one, she had this whole ass series planned out, I swear. Because she already has these little details for giant plot things that will happen in the next 2 books, but you'll never know until you reread it. So I love that. And that's a good like thing to have in your books because it makes people want to reread them, which I love. Then immediately after finishing that book, I picked this book up, and literally in the same day of finishing the first book, read part 1, like read all of part 1 of this book. A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas is the second book. The real reason I want to reread the series is because we all know that this book is great. We all know it. We've all accepted it. We all think it's the best book of the series. It's one of the best books written that's on BookTube that we talk about. if you like this kind of book. Should preface that. If you like fantasy, young adult, you like a little steamy romance in your fantasy, this is the book for you. Love it. Great. I could cry. I don't even want to go into like describing them because this is a wrap up, so I should really be talking about the books themselves, but like I'll rant for a really long time if I do that. And I'll want to talk about things I shouldn't, and it's just know that it's about a girl named Feyre who has to provide for her family, and one day she's out in the woods and, you know, she sees a wolf and something happens and she gets whisked away to the world full of fairies that humans haven't been a part of for 400 years or maybe something more than that. And it's really good. And the reason I love this series is because of the author's realistic interpretation of PTSD and including it into the story. Because I think it's really realistic. For all fantasy books, characters go through incredibly awful things. And it is extremely realistic that they would suffer from witnessing the things or being a part of the things that they're involved in. And her books, like this series specifically, but kind of all her books have it, I would say, which is cool. Realistically show what PTSD can be like for people. Everyone experiences things a little bit differently, but it's really cool, and I think it's great to have in fantasy, because not even that like it's great to have more representation, but it's great to see that because it just makes sense and it adds to the story to like, it makes it more realistic, and I like that. So the next book I read, moving on, is another really exciting book because I've been reading this book for like 2 months. I just haven't been reading because of school at that point, but I finally finished it, and that is The Ballad of Songbird and Snakes by Susan Collins. And that is The Ballad of Songbird and Snakes by Suzanne Collins, and this is the prequel to The Hunger Games. It's gotten kind of a bad rap, I think, on BookTube. A lot of people didn't love it, but I think it definitely has to do with your expectations of what you're going into this book to be. It's not going to be another Hunger Games. It's not about someone in the arena. It's about someone observing the arena and getting involved in, like, the, getting involved in, like, what is going on in the arena, but not actively being in it. And it's President Snow when he's a teenager, and it's kind of how his life got to where it is in the Hunger Games. I loved this book. I thought it was really good. I didn't love the ending, but you know, we all know President Snow's not a good guy, but this also had to be a book, and she made you like him a lot, but she also had to make you hate him at the end. And that was kind of startling to like see the shift in character, even though you knew it was gonna come. So I didn't like love that part as much, but I still understood that it needed to happen. It could have maybe been done better, but I don't even know how. So I think like it was just kind of a difficult situation to have to write about. But I love this book. I loved seeing like the history of where some of the things about the Hunger Games or like about District 12 came from. That was so cool to me. I definitely think this is a 4.5 stars. I very much enjoyed it. And then the last book I finished right at the end of the month is a book I've literally been reading for months because it's a nonfiction book, so I like take those slowly. I don't really focus on them. I just read them when I want to, but I really needed to finish it. And that's Bonk by Mary Roach. It's about the history of science involving sex. So it goes through sex research throughout the last basically 50 years, because there wasn't really any before then, and how it's evolved and like kind of I don't know. It's I don't even know how to describe the actual book because she talks about a lot of really wide like range of different science experiments involving sex and stuff. So it's kind of cool if you like science. I'm really into learning about sexual education because I think that the school systems really fail us, and I want to be able to answer questions anyone in my life has about like their bodies or sex and stuff like that, because I think it's really important to have someone to go to, because that can cause a lot of like mental health issues and problems involving sex, and you should get to be your own person. I probably cut that off because I started to ramble, but I liked this book. It was cool. The author was funny, which I enjoyed. I've never read a nonfiction book where the author was like joking with you. I kind of liked it. I would say it was like a 4.4 stars, 4-star read. It didn't like blow my mind, but it was really interesting. But yeah, that is all the books I read this December. I read a total of 8 books. I'm pretty proud of myself, all things considered, like with the end of a semester and stuff for half of the month and the holidays. But I'm really happy and I'm excited for this new year and all the books I'm gonna read. And I hope you guys are too. And I hope you guys all have a great day. I love you all so, so very much. And I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye bye.